Listen carefully, because what you are about to hear may decide the direction of your soul, your destiny, and your eternity. There are moments in life when time is not on your side, when delay can cost everything, and when hesitation can destroy what was meant for you. God is speaking right now, and His words are not suggestions, not whispers to ignore, but warnings carrying eternal weight. Do not test Him. Do not mock His patience. Do not treat lightly the mercy that has been extended to you. This is not just another message, this is a call, a trumpet sound before the closing of the gates. Subscribe now to stay connected to every word that heaven is speaking in this hour. For what you hear today may be the very thing that saves you tomorrow. Watch before it is too late. There are seasons in the journey of the soul when the heart is confronted with the reality of eternity. There are voices in this world that will try to distract, confuse, and deceive you into thinking you have time, that you can wait, that you can delay. But time is not promised, and eternity is not negotiable. The one who holds breath in His hand is reminding you today, do not test Him. Do not play with the sacred. Do not gamble with destiny. For every moment you resist His call, you risk being pulled further away from the very purpose you were created for. The patience of heaven is long, but it is not endless. Mercy is abundant, but it is not to be mocked. Grace is wide, but it is not to be trampled upon. When God speaks, it is not merely to fill silence, it is to awaken, to shake, to stir, to realign you with the reason you were born. Many live as if eternity is a myth, as if consequence is a story for others, as if the Creator can be ignored and nothing will follow. But the truth stands unmoved. You cannot test the one who made you without consequence. You cannot reject His whispers forever without facing His silence. You cannot continue to look at the signs around you and pretend they mean nothing. The principle of detachment comes into your life as a gift, as a shield, as a way to survive the storm of distractions that this world throws upon you. Detachment is not weakness, it is strength. Detachment is not apathy, it is focus. It is the art of looking at what glitters and knowing it is dust. It is the discipline of walking through noise and remaining unmoved. It is the wisdom of knowing that not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every argument deserves your response. Not every temptation deserves your attention. To detach is to honor what is eternal above what is temporary. To value the unseen above the seen. To cling to the divine above the fading. Do not test God by clinging to what He is calling you to release. Do not test Him by holding on to people, places, and habits that He has already whispered for you to leave behind. Every time you hold on to what is meant to be cut off, you test His patience. Every time you ignore His warning signs, you test His mercy. Every time you silence His conviction, you test His love. And though He is long-suffering, though His love is great, the day will come when you look back and realize that what you lost was not just time, but the very door He had opened before you. You see, detachment is not about loss, but about preservation. It is about protecting what is sacred within you from being wasted on what is profane around you. Many cannot hear God clearly because they are too entangled with noise, with relationships that drain them, with pursuits that blind them, with pleasures that weaken them. The divine voice does not compete with chaos, it calls you out of it. That is why detachment is commanded, not as punishment, but as deliverance. There is power in stepping away from what everyone else runs toward. There is authority in refusing what everyone else craves. There is freedom in saying no where others say yes. That is what makes you different, chosen, set apart. The world measures strength by what you conquer, but heaven measures strength by what you can release. The true test of power is not how tightly you hold, but how freely you let go when God says the time has come. God is warning you, do not test Him by delaying obedience. Delay is disobedience dressed in politeness. Delay is rebellion softened with excuses. Every time you delay, the enemy gains ground in your life. Every time you delay, the heart hardens. Every time you delay, your hearing becomes duller. That is why his word comes with urgency. Watch before it is too late. Look at your life with eyes open. See the patterns, the cycles, the traps. Notice how every time you ignore the inner voice, destruction follows. Notice how every time you cling to what he asked you to release, pain multiplies. Notice how every time you test him, you lose peace, you lose clarity, you lose favor. But for those who detach, for those who obey, for those who honor his timing, there is a strength that no storm can break. Detachment births confidence because you no longer lean on shifting sands. Detachment builds resilience because you are no longer tied to outcomes. Detachment awakens vision because you finally see beyond the smoke of temporary pleasures. You become light, unburdened, unshaken, unstoppable. And understand this: detachment is not loneliness. Detachment is alignment. It is the positioning of your heart in such a way that nothing outside of you has the power to control the inside of you. Detachment does not mean you feel less, it means you feel deeper, but you are no longer enslaved to the fleeting. It means you love purely without clinging desperately. You give freely without expecting falsely. You serve genuinely without being bound by the opinions of men. God's warning today is not meant to crush you, but to awaken you. Do not test him by assuming you have another year, another month, another day. The breath in your lungs is his gift, not your possession. The time in your hands is his mercy, not your guarantee. To detach is to live as though eternity matters more than this moment, as though the soul matters more than applause, as though truth matters more than comfort. The reason many struggle with detachment is because they confuse it with abandonment. But detachment is not abandonment, it is elevation. You are not walking away from people because you hate them. You are walking away because your purpose cannot survive in that environment. You are not refusing opportunities because you fear them. You are refusing because not every open door is divine. You are not silent because you are weak. You are silent because not every voice deserves your energy. The wisdom of detachment is the wisdom of surrender. It is the willingness to let go of control and trust that the one who wrote your story is also capable of sustaining it. Testing God is clinging to your way. Honoring God is releasing into his way. Testing him is demanding proof before you move. Honoring him is moving when all you have is his word. Testing him is delaying until you feel ready. Honoring him is obeying even when you feel afraid. And there is a warning if you continue to test him. If you continue to ignore his call, if you continue to treat his word lightly, the moment may come when silence falls. Silence is the most terrifying judgment, for when God no longer speaks, direction is lost. When he no longer convicts, the conscience is seared. When he no longer calls, the path grows darker. Do not test him until the silence comes. The principle of detachment is not just spiritual, it is also emotional. Many are bound not by chains on their hands, but by chains on their hearts. They cannot move forward because they are emotionally entangled in what should have been released long ago. They test God by staying in cycles of pain and calling it loyalty. They test him by refusing to leave toxic ties and calling it love. They test him by refusing to detach from destructive patterns and calling it comfort. And all the while, destiny waits, time passes, and doors close. Emotional detachment is the ability to love without losing yourself, to give without being drained, to stay without being trapped. It is strength disguised as stillness. It is wisdom disguised as quiet. It is power disguised as peace. If you want to know how strong you are, do not look at what you can hold on to. Look at what you can let go of. If you want to know how aligned you are with your purpose, do not measure it by how much you gain, but by how much you can release without breaking. If you want to know whether you are testing God or honoring Him, look at whether you are delaying obedience or walking in it immediately. Watch before it is too late. Watch your words, for careless words test His patience. Watch your actions, for disobedient steps test His guidance. Watch your relationships, for clinging to the wrong people tests His protection. Watch your desires, for craving what destroys you tests His mercy. Watch before it is too late. There is a weight in these words, do not test Him. When the Eternal speaks, it is not to be negotiated with, it is not to be debated, it is not to be postponed. Every moment of hesitation is a test of His patience, and every test carries consequences. Many believe that because judgment does not fall immediately, they are safe. They mistake delay for approval, silence for consent, mercy for indifference. But the truth is, delay is mercy giving you room to repent, silence is grace waiting for your response, and mercy is love shielding you from what you truly deserve. Do not misinterpret mercy as weakness. The soul must awaken to the principle of alignment. Detachment is alignment with eternity, alignment with the voice of the one who cannot be shaken. When you detach from the fleeting, you anchor yourself in the unshakable. When you release the temporary, you gain the eternal. The reason detachment is so critical is because what you cling to will eventually control you. If you cling to the opinions of men, their rejection will destroy you. If you cling to possessions, their loss will break you. If you cling to relationships not ordained by God, their collapse will drain you. But if you cling to the divine, nothing in this world can break you, for your source is higher, stronger, eternal. Testing God often comes through divided loyalties. The lips speak of faith, but the heart clings to idols. The hands are lifted in prayer, but the soul is still bound to chains of fear, lust, greed, and pride. You cannot test Him by claiming to serve Him while still serving what He told you to leave. You cannot walk in two directions at once. You cannot live in light while still holding on to darkness. The call of God is always singular. Choose this day whom you will serve. The danger of testing Him is subtle. It rarely looks like rebellion at first. It often looks like compromise, delay, small excuses. You whisper to yourself, just one more time, just one more chance, just one more season. But those whispers are the seeds of destruction. Every one more becomes a chain until you can no longer break free. What begins as testing His patience ends as losing His presence. The tragedy of many lives is not that they rejected Him openly, but that they delayed until the door was shut. That is why the principle of emotional detachment is urgent. When you detach, you refuse to let the temporary control your eternal decisions. You refuse to let your emotions dictate obedience. You refuse to let fear of loss keep you from stepping into destiny. You rise above the noise, above the fear, above the pull of the flesh. Detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. It is the ability to see what matters most and to act accordingly. There is a sacred courage that comes upon those who learn detachment. They walk through fire without being burned, because their hearts are not chained to what flames can consume. They walk through floods without being drowned, because their souls are not anchored in what waters can sweep away. They walk through rejection without being destroyed, because their worth is not tied to applause. They walk through storms without losing peace, because their foundation is deeper than shifting sands. Do not test God by refusing this wisdom. Many mock the idea of detachment, calling it weakness, calling it detachment from life itself. But they are blind. The ones who detach are the ones who truly live, because they live unafraid, unshaken, unbroken. Detachment does not remove you from life. It empowers you to live life abundantly, without fear of loss, without slavery to people, without bondage to outcomes. Consider the weight of eternity against the weight of your attachments. What you are clinging to now, will it matter in 10 years? In 50 years? in 100 years? The applause, the possessions, the relationships, the titles, will they matter in eternity, or will they fade like smoke, leaving only regret behind? Do not test him by building your house on sand when he is offering you the rock. Every warning comes with grace. Even now, his voice is calling, not to condemn but to awaken, not to destroy but to deliver, not to strip away but to realign. Do not mistake warning for rejection. Warning is mercy shouting louder than your distractions. Warning is love refusing to let you sleep through the storm. Warning is God saying, watch before it is too late. When you practice detachment, you train your soul to live above offense. Offense is one of the greatest traps that test God's patience. He calls you to forgive, but you cling to bitterness. He calls you to release, but you hold on to grudges. He calls you to bless, but you curse in your heart. Every act of unforgiveness is a test of His mercy. At every grudge is a chain that binds you. Detachment frees you from offense because you no longer need validation from men. You no longer demand repayment from those who wronged you. You no longer measure your peace by their actions. You rise above. Do not test Him by refusing to forgive. Do not test Him by refusing to release. Do not test Him by feeding the wounds that should have been healed long ago. The longer you hold on, the deeper the poison spreads. And yet, the moment you release, healing begins. Detachment is the key to your healing, your freedom, your restoration. There is a holy boldness that rests upon those who refuse to test Him. They live with conviction. They speak with clarity. They walk with authority, because they know where their strength comes from. They are not tossed by every wave of emotion, not shaken by every rumor of fear, not broken by every disappointment. Their hearts are anchored in eternity. Their minds are set on things above. Their souls are free from the bondage of testing God's patience. You must understand testing God is not only about outward rebellion. It is also about inward compromise. He sees the thoughts, the desires, the motives. He sees when obedience is delayed in the heart, even if the body goes through the motions. He sees when lips pray, but the soul resists. He sees when the outward act is right, but the inward heart is divided. Do not test Him with empty rituals. Do not test Him with half-hearted devotion. Do not test Him with selective obedience. He is not mocked. The call is urgent. Watch before it is too late. Watch what you feed your mind. Watch what you allow into your heart. Watch where you plant your time. Watch who you walk with. Watch the patterns that are pulling you away from purpose. Watch before it is too late. There is a cry echoing in the spirit realm right now, a cry that says, awaken, return, repent, release. Do not test the patience of God by closing your ears to that cry. Every time you silence conviction, your heart hardens a little more. Every time you delay obedience, the gap between you and destiny widens. Every time you ignore the call, the risk of silence grows heavier. There is nothing more terrifying than the silence of heaven, for when the voice that once warned you no longer speaks, the road ahead becomes a path of destruction. To detach is to keep your ears open. To detach is to keep your spirit sharp. To detach is to make sure nothing drowns out the still, small voice that guides you. The world is filled with noise, desires screaming for attention, temptations demanding indulgence, fears clamoring for dominance. But detachment silences the noise. It gives your soul the stillness to hear, the strength to obey, the wisdom to discern. Do not test God by refusing detachment. For when you refuse, you are saying with your life that what fades is worth more than what lasts. You are saying that temporary pleasures are worth more than eternal purpose. You are saying that the creation is worth more than the Creator. That is the essence of testing Him, valuing what He calls worthless and despising what He calls priceless. You were not created for chains. You were not created to be enslaved by fear, by opinion, by possessions, by people who drain your spirit. You were created for freedom, for light, for destiny. And yet so many test him by returning to chains that he already broke. Like birds freed from cages that fly back to the bars, like prisoners pardoned who walk back to their cells, they test his patience by trading freedom for slavery, purpose for comfort, eternity for a moment. Do not be counted among them. Watch before it is too late, for the signs are everywhere. The days grow darker, the hearts of many grow colder, truth is mocked, deception is celebrated. What was once shameful is now called progress. What was once sacred is now called outdated. And in this storm of confusion, God's voice still cries out, "Do not test me. Do not think that because judgment has not fallen yet, it never will. Do not think that because the world applauds, heaven agrees. Do not think that because the crowd is loud, the truth has changed. Eternity is not moved by applause. The truth is not rewritten by opinion. The standard of heaven is unshakable. Detachment is your shield in these days. When you detach, you are no longer seduced by what the crowd celebrates. You are no longer deceived by what the world applauds. You are no longer trapped by what your flesh craves. You stand as one set apart, one chosen, one marked. The world may not understand you, but heaven recognizes you. The crowd may reject you, but eternity crowns you. Do not test God by clinging to the crowd. Do not test him by chasing after applause. Do not test him by selling your soul for acceptance. Every time you bow to the world's opinion, you test his patience. Every time you ignore conviction for popularity, you test his mercy. Every time you trade truth for comfort, you test his love. And though he is merciful, though he is patient, there will be a day when the choice you made becomes final. The danger of testing him is that you assume you have time to change. But time is not in your control. Breath is not in your possession. The next heartbeat is not guaranteed. Do not build your future on the illusion of tomorrow. Tomorrow is a promise only he can make, not you. Watch before it is too late. Detachment gives you the ability to live ready. Ready for change, ready for obedience, ready for eternity. When you detach, you stop clinging to schedules that were never yours to control. You stop delaying obedience until circumstances feel perfect. You stop bargaining with God for more time, more signs, more evidence. Detachment trains you to say yes immediately, to respond quickly, to obey fully. And those who obey quickly are those who walk in power. The greatest victories are given to those who release quickly. The greatest revelations are shown to those who detach easily. The greatest peace is given to those who stop testing him with delay and start honoring him with obedience. Delay is a thief, stealing both time and destiny. But obedience unlocks doors that delay will never touch. Do not test him by pretending neutrality. There is no middle ground in eternity. To delay is to choose. To ignore is to decide. To remain lukewarm is to rebel. You cannot stand between two fires and expect to remain untouched. You cannot serve two masters and expect to remain whole. The line is drawn. The call is clear. Watch before it is too late. Detachment demands courage. It means walking away from familiar comfort into unknown obedience. It means saying no to the easy path and yes to the narrow way. It means refusing what everyone else calls success because you see what heaven calls distraction. It means walking alone at times, misunderstood, misjudged, mocked. But in your detachment, you will find a strength that multitudes never taste. You will find intimacy with the divine, clarity of vision, boldness of spirit. You will walk with peace that defies storms, with joy that survives loss, with faith that stands unbroken. Do not test him by choosing the crowd over conviction. Do not test him by silencing your conscience to fit in. Do not test him by betraying your purpose for temporary applause. The applause of men fades quickly. The approval of heaven endures forever. Watch before it is too late. Watch the patterns in your life. Watch the doors he is closing. Watch the voices he is silencing. Watch the nudges in your spirit that you keep ignoring. Every warning is mercy, but mercy is not endless. Every sign is love, but love will not force you. The day may come when the warnings stop, when the signs are withdrawn, when the silence falls. And in that silence, regret will echo louder than applause ever did. You are being called higher, deeper, closer. Detachment is the bridge. Detachment is the price. Detachment is the test of your faith. Do not fail it. Do not test him by holding back when he has given all. Do not test him by demanding proof when he has already shown grace. Do not test him by delaying when eternity is already at the door. Your strength will not be found in what you cling to, but in what you release. Your identity will not be proven by what you keep, but by what you let go of. Your destiny will not be unlocked by what you demand, but by what you surrender. That is the wisdom of detachment, the call of this hour, the urgency of this message. So I say it again, watch before it is too late. Do not test God with your delay. Do not test him with your divided heart. Do not test him with your excuses. The time is now, the call is clear, the choice is yours.